السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي واجعل لي وزيرا من أهلي هارون أخي اشدد به أزري ويشركه في أمري كي نسبحك كثيرا ونذكرك كثيرا إنك كنت بنا بصيرا. ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين واجعلنا للمتقين إماما. رب اجعلني مقيم الصلاة ومن ذريتي ربنا وتقبل دعاء. وصل اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين. آمين. آمين إن شاء الله.
We're reading from the Book of Creation on page 4. In the middle of the page, question: why do people believe in matter's eternity and attribute all species formation to random motions of particles or similar things? Answer. Reasoning.
Shall I understand the question first?
It's asking, why do people believe in matter's eternity and attribute all species formation to random motions of particles or similar things?
Yeah. How many subjects are going to be discussed or we are expecting to deal with now?
One subject appears to be attributing matter with having self-sustaining quality, in which it could...
So in matters?
Eternity, like it could survive forever on its own, that it decides its own fate, that it has a quality to decide its own fate and perhaps stay on forever if it had to.
So eternity, the relationship between eternity and you said something.
The relationship
it infers to. What it infers to. That's what your point was. If I say this is eternal, it infers to
that it's self-sustaining.
That is
self-sustaining.
Self-sustaining and self-existing.
Right.
Oh, how do you make this relationship? I'm not saying it doesn't make sense,
right?
But I'm finding it difficult.
Right. The way that I'm making the relationship is that the only way that a thing can be eternal is if it's given that quality, or if it has the ability to give itself that quality.
Quality of what?
Of being eternal, or of existing forever.
Yeah, that's the first point.
Right.
Existing forever. Forever means no time limit. It means not
beyond time.
What
within the conditions of
time?
This universe.
Sorry?
Within the conditions of this universe.
Yeah. Now, when you say beyond time, people say, okay, we may not be able to grasp the beginning and the end of the time. But within the conditions of this universe, you said, makes sense to me. As long as something exists within the conditions of this universe, it must be
subject to time.
Subject to time. If something, let's build the reasoning on a square base.
I see what you're
saying. If something is subject to time, means what it infers. If I say this is subject to time, it is dependent in its existence. Now, what we call the time is what? When we call the time, we briefly emphasize in our classes that we call the time as act of creation, but this infers a kind of accepted concept, act of creation, because creation is pre-accepted concept. But it was the conclusion that we keep using this as a conclusion. So what was the principle of this class is we cannot use the conclusion of previous reasoning as a base for another reasoning. You have to, that is the logical necessary principle. But even some people say that I'm speaking logically, they may not notice this point. But since it happened that we notice this point, then we have to say if a conclusion is arrived as a result of certain sequence of reasoning, this conclusion cannot be used for another reasoning and get another conclusion, arrive in another conclusion if this conclusion is used as a base for the second reasoning. It is wrong. So what we say, for example, we cannot say, we said, I understood the universe has a creator. Yeah? Therefore, religion is correct. No. Universe has a creator, and I don't believe in any religion. I believe that there's a creator, but I don't believe these religions. It doesn't necessitate that you have to believe in religions because somebody said, I received. The religion is what? I received the message from the creator. I don't know. That is another subject. That's why a lot of people say, I believe in the creator, but I don't believe in religion. It means I don't believe that a person claimed that he received a message from this creator, which is, it needs another proof, another independent sequence of reasoning. 99% of the people, not ordinary people, philosophers, miss this point. And Christians, Jews, Buddhists, Hindus, Muslims all take it, it is a very convincing reasoning. No, it is not. It is a false reasoning. If I say I believe in God, therefore religion is correct. Religion is introduced to us through a man. How can I make this man has received the message from this God? I don't know. Do you understand the obvious gap? Yeah, it is a big responsibility. Okay, now, what was our main point in the question? We said, if something is subject to time, we are continuing the reasoning. We cannot say that anything subject to time must necessarily be created, because time is the continuation of the act of creation. But because I have used the word creation here, because time is the continuation of act of creation. Where did I get the creation? It is another reasoning that belongs to another reasoning chain. So I cannot bring it and put it here. It is not an logical reasoning is not an assembly line. You know what the big factories? they say, well, for example, we are Toyota producers, all right? But you go there, well, there's a plant, of course, big, a large area established there. Not everything is produced there. They have subcontractors. The tires are produced somewhere else, and engines are produced somewhere else. Plastic parts are produced somewhere else. They may produce something within their speciality in that quarter, in that place only, but they bring them and assemble them. And the car comes out from that place. That's why they say we are the producer of that car. And so, especially the belief, which must be based on the conclusion of reasoning, is not assembly line. The parts are produced somewhere else. No, it must be produced in your own plant, whatever the subject is. For example, belief in God is one matter. Belief in the religion is another matter. Belief in the hereafter is another matter. Belief in the existence of angels is another matter. You cannot say God exists, therefore religion is correct, therefore my religion is correct. Look at lots of packages are coming in. Therefore Islam is correct or Christianity is correct. Therefore Jesus is Son of God. Because Christianity is correct. And then Christianity says Son of God. So Muslim says, therefore, Muhammad is prophet. It is not reasoning at all. It's a false cheating oneself. Common people may not be able to do that. We are not speaking to common people. Common people cannot really understand us anyways. And they don't listen to us. We know. So we want to satisfy ourselves. So let's come there. Mm-hmm. If something is eternal, it means, by definition, it should not be subject to the conditions of this universe. Okay, that's one thing. Now, if a thing, continuing the same reasoning, not subject to the universe, it means we cannot attribute time to it. Okay? If something cannot be attributed to time, we say it must be eternal. Okay. So, anything, the universe itself is anything. The universe also a thing is subject to the conditions of this universe itself. Mm-hmm. So it must be the source of existence of itself.
Something is
now the universe consists the conditions of this universe. So we said it is eternal. If it is eternal, it should have an independent existence by itself and should not be subject to anything. Right? But look at the universe and see, is there anything, can anyone show that which is not subject to another thing here in the universe?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Earlier you said, and I might have misheard you, but you said something like, if something which exists and is not, anything which exists which is subjected to the conditions of the universe cannot be eternal. Does that mean that anything which is created is temporary?
But it is a corollary of it, necessary conclusion of it, yes.
Okay.
But and we have to be very careful. Anything is
Created.
anything in the if you say created means
Given
it means
existence.
subject to the conditions of this universe is doesn't cannot be cannot be eternal. If it is not eternal, dependent. If it is dependent, it needs a source for its existence. Dependent.
So something can be dependent and eternal.
No, if it is dependent, because eternal is what we understand now. Eternal means self-subsisting, right? So eternal means self-subsisting, but subject to nothing.
So if I explain my own existence, I can't say my existence is eternal. I'm dependent on an eternal source.
Or something else.
Oh yeah,
But
sure.
this something else must be self-existing.
Mhm.
If something is self-existing, human logic says it is eternal. So if something is self-existing, also necessitates another thing. It's very important, and the Muslim scholars, I think, realized this. Not all of them, but specific current in the Muslim thought realized that if something is eternal, it must be the source of existence of its own qualities as well.
That makes sense.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, when I learned this, I got excited. Yeah, really. Okay. If something is the source of existence of its qualities, it means its qualities must be also eternal.
How do you?
Its qualities, because only self-existing one can have eternal qualities. And it must be this eternal means source of existence of itself.
Of course.
It's source of existence of its qualities as well. Right? Do we see anything in the world which is the source of existence of its own qualities? No?
No.
Yeah, no. So did we find ourselves in contradiction by saying that universe is eternal? Matter is eternal?
Because it has to be.
It doesn't make sense. It's contradictory. Matter is eternal statement or a conclusion. It's a conclusion. That's the conclusion.
Mhm.
When we use is the conclusion. So conclusion says matter is eternal. Look, how many people, either with the name of philosopher or scientist, but using his own philosophy, declares that matter is eternal? Hundreds, thousands, everywhere. It's a self-contradictory word, conclusion. It's very common. And people, the students also say, oh, yeah. Universe is eternal, matter is eternal, it has been like this. But what they say, it has been like this always, by itself. By itself means self-existing. Self-existing means the source of it, the existence of its own qualities. And what I see in the world, nothing can be source of existence of its qualities. It is subject to change, it is subject to the laws, and it is subject to if you speak about that would be, I thought you were going to ask this question. It would be a legitimate question: is the laws are eternal? Now we can see the laws are practicing it themselves, demonstrating themselves only within the universe, and they are interconnected with each other. They are, while functioning, as dependent on each other. So if one law contradicts the other law, then the universe's order cannot be stable. So they have to communicate with each other, whatever the law we are talking about. And you see the laws, one of them is attractive, the other one is repelling, contradicting. And they are contradicting each other, but the result is perfect balance. Because of this contradiction, do we see any unbalanced thing in the universe? So look at them, see the evidence, because another rule is, if something is eternal, its qualities must be also eternal. All its aspects, whatever you call them, must be also eternal. Right? All its parts that we see them, its parts, must be also eternal, because we see that the universe is not an absolute whole. It consists of parts.
Parts as in, what do you mean? An example. Parts as in.
Yeah, different. Atoms or particles or everything, parts. So every particle is subject to different laws, and they are working in harmony. But they are working in harmony in such a way that they depend on another. For example, there is law of attraction, there is law of repelling. In order to make the universe perfect, do they need each other? If everything was attracting, but there was no law of repelling, contradicting law of repelling. If there was no law of repelling, what would happen? Physically, when we experience the universe, what the result will be?
Chaos.
Sorry?
Chaos.
Not chaos. They will go back into, the physicists know it very well, into one atom. There's no repelling. Everything is, very early Muslim philosopher, maybe 1400 or 1450 now, let's say 1200, 1250 years, not the way we understand, 1250 years ago, said, in fact, it is a very amazing statement. If you really squeeze the universe, huge universe, into, it is on the law of attraction is working. But he didn't say that, he didn't know that. Now, what he logically concluded, after being trained by the Quranic way of seeing what matter is, that they call it world view, existence view, we should call it. View of existence, one's view of existence. Squeeze it, it would be as big as only an egg. But that's what he could think. But if you see this man who died, the famous physicist, recently died, he says, because of the expansion of the universe, if you reverse it in order to get to the beginning, you find one atom. Now, 21st century said, not an egg, but one atom. They understand. But this is only possible if there was no counter force, expansion. Yeah, not only construction, but expansion. The universe is continuously expanding. Yeah, we can mathematically think about that. It must start from an atom, which is called, when the one atom exploded. How?
Big Bang. There's the theory Big Bang.
Yeah, that's the famous theory. Yeah. Everybody says, oh, well, logically it makes sense, but it gives a beginning. So it necessarily rejects, because the beginning is one atom. It means there was repelling expansion, not only attraction. But they work together in such a balance that the universe is in order. It means opposing principles are acting in harmony. Now, we have to understand this kind of things. Now, a dead man, of course, 1200 years ago, as a Muslim philosopher, he thought of it only, not mathematically, but only logically, thought that, this is really expanding, but if you really squeeze them, but in fact, what he assumed, I'm repeating, it must be new for some people, what we assume, that there is no law of expansion, which is we experience in the world. There is a law of expansion. The universe is expanding. No one can deny that. In spite of black holes. Contradiction. It doesn't mean that they are wrong. No. It contradicts the conclusion that the matter is eternal. Because opposing principles are making the balance. And it has a beginning. Mathematically, logically for the early Muslim philosophers, and mathematically, the latest mathematicians and astrophysicists concluded the same thing. It is a beginning. It means it's not eternal. Now, astrophysicists arrive to this conclusion. It has a beginning. It must have a beginning. Even those philosophers now, not before, now, who claim that matter is eternal, could not reject this theory for the moment. But what we understand, we don't depend our conclusion on this theory. It is logically contradiction, experientially contradiction. When we look at the universe, we don't see anything confirming this conclusion. Do you understand this? Yeah, look very crazy. Come on, sit. You have to sit there next to Farah. So you understand only the words, and not you. If a person is sleepy, understands only the surface, and not the idea and main thing, main logic, the point, but like a cloud. They are talking about that Allah, God really must exist, and the universe cannot be eternal. I know. No, I'm not imitating you particularly, but we must be really alive. Everyone. If we repeat it today, for example, we talk today, at least 2, if not 3, near, near, for you near. You can put this one and the sister can sit, you share. No. This one, no one is using this. Expand this and you can sit there. But together, there is no room for it. You can share together. Huh? How do you feel comfortable there? Although somebody else should sit there, but no force. Okay. This one or this one can go there. Okay, then. It must be totally new for you. Some of the principles we talked today. Did you have another one?
Yes.
Okay. Now, why do people believe in matter's eternity? Yeah. And attribute all species formations to random motions of particles. Now, of course, another, we mentioned this and people know it. Another matter is random motions of particles. Now, everybody knows about the theory. This is a theory that quanta happens and
Disappears.
it appears and disappears. How? Randomly, they say.
Or they say it does not follow physical laws that we observe in the macro world. So it's not predictable.
Predictable, yeah. But if it is not predictable because they cannot predict it, and other people say, okay, today we not, but tomorrow we may predict, find the rule. So it is not the solution, ultimate solution. But what they say, for example, how the events happen within the cell, randomly. And random RRL,
Trial and error.
Try and error. Oh, this fit. Stop. Try and error. Oh, this fit. Stop. What does it mean? Random. Try and error. That's how we learn. Huh? The human beings learn by try and error.
Say something.
Okay, you were listening carefully, so.
Something has a beginning, and it's.
If it has a beginning.
If something has a beginning and it's still continuous, right? Then can we conclude that its existence is eternal?
No. The beginning cannot be eternal. No. What is the relationship? The question is very real. We may realize, we may not realize. This question is in everybody's mind. Now, your question, it makes the matter two different subjects, connects these two different subjects together. It means one is matter is eternal. The other one is the formation, motions of particles are random. Yes? Now, two methods are here. Matter is eternal in the question. Matter is eternal, and motions of particles are random. But let's understand that. Now, we cannot say any of these proposals right, but we will read the answer. But let's use our previous methods.
Can I just say the question in my own words? The question is,
Yeah.
hey,
Okay. Good.
why is matter eternal? That's
Why
the
is
question.
matter eternal? No.
That's
The question says matter is eternal. That's their conclusion. The person who asks the question says, my conclusion is
Oh,
matter is eternal and motions of particles are random. That's my conclusion.
okay.
They, the
I see what you mean.
the author is turning these conclusions into question form.
I agree.
Why do people believe? That is the question as far as author is concerned. It is not the question of the people who claim these two main principles.
Okay, makes sense.
So
The two main principles are being discussed.
now,
Mhm.
if let's say motions of particles are random. Let's go back to our previous discussions, and in our previous classes, we concluded what? One thing we concluded. We said if something, when we experience in this world that something happens, what we observe immediately changes, and this one occurs in existence, disappears, another similar one comes into existence. Another similar one. Change means this. For example, when we discussed the death, for example, we said death is not the one only when we see that the body is not functioning. That is practical definition of death. But in fact, when we go back to the very particles themselves, and for example, my life journey, every moment I change. But when I realize it only every 1 decade. So every decade, last Wednesday, somebody come to the class and said, "Don't you remember me?" Well, no. Why? We were having classes together 15 years ago. But I didn't say, but you've got a middle-aged, you are a middle-aged woman now. And I saw you were a college student 15 years ago. She changed drastically that I couldn't remember. But when she said her last name, I remember the last name. Last name is not very common. Last name. Then try to make the similarity, not exactness, similarity, some appearance in appearance. It means we said there is no radical change in the world as far as our experience is concerned. Radical change. For example, suddenly a baby becomes 40 years old man. There's no radical change, but everything is subject to change. And change means life and death. It means appearance in existence and disappearing from non-existence. Is it random? If it was random, I would be completely different. Tree will be completely different every moment. No, similarity is kept. It is not random. regular. Okay, all the contradicting laws of the universe results in harmony, perfectness, but still leaves the traces of change. They are subject to change. They are subject to be brought into existence a new one, and they are subject to disappear from existence. For example, within the universe, we are not talking about God can preserve it. This kind of language doesn't work here in our class. Within the universe, we see yesterday is, as far as the conditions of the universe is concerned, where is yesterday? As far as the physical conditions of the universe is concerned, where is yesterday? Where is yesterday?
Past.
Sorry?
Past.
Past means, where is past? Does it exist? Can you show me yesterday? Yeah, come on, try. Force your brain, make it work.
I can remember something from yesterday.
No, not only remember, can you show me the existence of yesterday today?
In video.
What do you mean?
If I recording.
But it's
That's the
recording. That's not the existence of the thing. For example, you take a picture of a baby, yeah, that is within the universe. Now, baby grows and becomes 15 years old, young girl. Okay, you show the baby to her, baby picture. You used to be like this, but baby is where? The baby is picture? Is the baby the picture? Or the baby was real and it is the picture of the baby? Where is the baby? Yes?
She has been grown up.
No. Where is the baby? Baby, do you think, for example, were you a baby once?
Yes.
Okay. Now, did you grow up yourself?
Mhm.
No, why didn't you keep yourself as a baby?
I can.
And, sorry?
I can.
You can't.
Yeah.
You didn't grow up. Now, we are in the class. We are not in the street. You can speak in the street. Okay? When the policeman asks you, "Oh, it was my picture of," it was me. It is me. It is me. But 10 years ago, it is me 10 years ago. It works only in the street and official conditions. But in existence, it doesn't work. It is not there. Existence, it doesn't work. So when you say, I grew up, are you growing up now yourself? Are you arranging your cells? How do they work so that it is becoming older and older appearance? Are you?
No.
So who's growing you? So that I have grown up means agent is, subject is I.
Mhm.
Are you growing up?
I'm not in charge of that.
But I found myself.
Yes.
So I am subject to act of something else. I'm not independent. I don't have independent existence. It means I am not self-existing. It means I am not eternal. I am subject to change. Everything in the universe is subject to change. Everything in the universe comes into existence and goes into non-existence. And this idiot rationality says matter is eternal. So obvious contradiction. Do you follow? So obvious contradiction.
should be the other way around. The source of existence of matter must be eternal.
Sorry?
The source of existence of matter must be eternal.
But since it is not an eternal, logically, but since it comes into existence or it is brought into existence continuously, whatever the agent which brings this existing universe into existence must be, that is logic.
Very interesting, actually. So if
That is
everything
logically acceptable, confirmable. I mean, you cannot come up with a counter argument. But the universe itself is witnessing this with all it is, not only parts, with all its particles, whatever you understand as particles.
It's so simple. Since everything is brought into existence, it's subject to change. How can it be eternal?
It's obvious, isn't it? Yeah. But some people say want to get away with it, but this change is taking randomly. That's why the following question brings this: motions of particles are random. Why? Because if it is not random, it must have a
Conscious source.
conscious source, or it is motions. So it is when somebody logically falls into complete disability, if you like, it has to find out a thing that it can get out of it. So, okay, the change, of course there is a change, okay? There's a motion. Motion is change. So, you get, okay, I cannot deny the change. So, universe is continuously changing because expanding as human beings are growing, universe is growing as well, but not by themselves. What we observe here, the change, continuous change. There is no agent, there is no agent. No, what shall I do? What shall I say now? What shall I do? This change is happening randomly. Randomly means there is no agent. You know, one baseless theory is tried to be supported against human experience by another even more baseless theory. Motions are random. Do you understand this? You can say false, logically false within false. Ridiculous.
I guess if you question even the word random,
Sorry?
even if you question the word random,
You cannot find. The author of this article we are reading challenges that no one can show me anything happening randomly.
yeah, I wonder what the
In the
origin
universe.
of the word is in the English language.
Sorry?
What the origin of the word is in English language. And I wonder,
I mean, that
like,
is no.
what were people
because
thinking when coming up with the
human
word
logic
like this?
functions in two ways. Yeah, one is true, one is really absolutely false, baseless. So, true one is existing. The absolutely false one is within human condition. Only human condition is given the possibility that human freedom, free will can act upon. Now, choose, it means human free will can have choice. One is true, one is wrong. For example, you can say 2 plus 2 makes 4. You can say, imagine 2 plus 2 makes 5. You can say it. You can say the universe is eternal, and it reminds you what the alternative. What comes to human capacity? The universe is ever changing. The alternative is it is not eternal. It is ever changing. So the notion of eternity immediately couples with the notion of changing. That is human capacity give a room for human free will to function. That's within human capacity. That's how we are made with this capacity.
Yes.
Yeah, but one is true, one is wrong. So you have to make your decision. But and also that is human free will, but human free will only chooses, cannot decide about the source of anything. Only chooses. For example, you can put here pears and here apples and say to human beings, choose one of them. Right? And he definitely has to prefer one over the other. Right? But he is not the creator of neither the apple nor the pear. He just chooses what is already existing in front of him. So the truth is there. I mean, whatever the option is true is there. Whatever the opposite option is false is also there. But human beings can choose any of it, but they cannot be the source of existence of any of it. That's how we are. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So even we cannot be the source of existence of our free will. Right? It is given to us and we use it. We are the consumers. Our slogan of this class, we are only the consumers. Everything is the consumer. No one is really producer. We say trees are producing fruit or oxygen. They are consumers, but they consume already existing the principles of existence. They cannot be the source of existence of the fruit. For example, okay.
The slogan goes like this: "We are mighty consumers in this mighty universe."
Within this mighty universe, but including the universe is a consumer of what?
Including the universe?
Yeah, all universe is the consumer of the act of production of its own source of existence. Act of producing, bringing into existence of its own source of existence. Consumes. It means uses it. It appears to exist in front of us.
I didn't get the last part. Sorry.
Okay. As a whole universe itself is also consuming the act of its creator. Let's put it in this way. The one, that's why I didn't want to use the word creator. So consumer, the act of it is source of existence. For example, you say this is a table. Now, can table make itself it's a table? No. It is not a table itself. If you want to use a precise language, it is made as a table. So the table is consuming using the quality that this quality belongs to me. Hey, I am a table, not tableness. But it is a consumer because somebody made it. That's why it said it's mine. It is given to me and I am a table now because I am made into a table. You understand this logic? Clear?
That the universe is
So
consuming.
it is bait at the table. It means everything in the universe is consuming the act of it is source of existence. Whatever the agent in it is existence. I mean, we use here in the language of the religion, or the religious language, we use the act of creation because it makes sense. Creation, by definition, means an actor is giving existence to another made existing existence to another thing that we are observing in this world. But some people get annoyed when they hear the religious language, creation. Okay, whatever the agent of the source of existence of the universe is consuming the act of this source. The universe cannot be the actor of its own existence. It is subject to change. And its change is not random. Both premises here is total contradiction. But people just accept it and, oh yeah, it makes sense. Look, everything is randomly changing. The tree is randomly changing. Oh, look at the tree. Even, yeah, you keep your right. Even the tree. Can the tree branches seems to be coming out in a random base? Yeah. At the end, what you see? When you look at a wood or a forest, every tree has its own outward shape. So the branches are not coming out randomly. At the end, the whole is perfect shape. And they cannot get out of their shape. For example, you cannot find one kind of pine tree having the same shape as another one. It has to grow, but every part of the branches, what is a bow or spring or shoot, every shoot on the tree seems to be randomly moving in this way, this way. Outward is, oh, this pine tree has this shape and it cannot get out of this shape. You said, oh, this is this pine tree. How do you know? They are always in this shape. It means it appears to be random shooting, but in fact, at the end we have to say, no, it wasn't random. I thought it was random. It has to get the same form. Then there are two options. Whether the thing to shoot appears to be randomly, it itself decides that, oh no, I have to grow. But never and ever without following my original shape. I have to grow, but I must make that is my ultimate aim. I will grow in this shape altogether. No, other one also should follow the same rule. Hey, you cannot make another appearance in your existence, in another form. You cannot assume another form for yourself. Hey. Do you get it? Every one of them has to follow that shape, although it just come out randomly.
You're saying we cannot expect everyone to follow.
Interact with themselves. Within
Oh
them.
yeah, of course.
Now, do you feel warm? Maybe warm then? Or do I feel warm because I'm excited? No.
I feel warm too.
It's cooler by the window.
I feel
I
fine.
see. Sorry?
It's fine.
Fine. Okay. Good. Okay. For question.
Yeah, as we were driving here, we saw geese flying, and they were they always form that V formation, right, when they fly. So
As
it's
a
like,
geese.
yeah,
I've
always-
seen this morning as
always
well.
the V
Oh,
formation. So I was saying to my husband, like, do you think they assign their positions before they take
yeah,
flight?
got online. Hey, they tell it in the prayer. They say, keep the line straight. Keep the line straight. Yeah, shoulder to shoulder, foot to foot, foot to foot. So also,
But,
geese,
like, why do people believe things happen randomly when it's
because
not
they are
logical?
bound to.
Okay.
Now, if you say,
Why would this
yeah,
meaning?
so we had a long discussion before you
Oh,
came.
sorry.
Okay, let you make it, but it's better to be in time, but try to make it. And so when you say, I'm not going to accept there's a source of existence, all right? So I cannot say, I cannot follow any religion, and the religion keeps saying that creation, creation. I don't accept creation because I don't accept religion. Because this already existing institutions in the form of religion does not make sense. Correct? Now, they say, okay, but they look at the appearance of the religious people, how they present themselves, they say they reject it. Yes, I agree with that. I reject them as well. Boy, I don't like them. Really. They really misrepresent what they say and has nothing to do with the source that they claim to follow. Even they don't know. If you ask them, we follow the Quran. We believe in the Quran. Ask them, have you ever studied the Quran? No, but I know it is from God. Sure. But for ordinary people, believe them, we cannot do anything with that. They cannot do better than this. So let them follow the institutionalized rules. But ourselves, no, I cannot do that. I don't think you can do that as well. So after rejecting how it is coming to social, psychological reason why people find themselves in this, is the right word in English, bog of unbelief. You know, bog, B-O-G,
Log.
well, swamp, no, swamp, no, swamp.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you understand? Why do they find themselves in this horrible situation? Because they were not satisfied, not with the idea of the origin of, for example, Islam, the Quran presents to them, but the people claim that we represent the Quran. It means we are Muslims. Now, everybody is Muslim who believes in God and really follows the message from God, but Muslims call themselves Muslims. Now, it's a political identity. We always keep saying that it is extremely important because it is the beginning of all mistakes. And also, after you accept this mistake, you are bound to say that I am automatically correct, and those people cannot accept this mistake, say I am automatically atheist. So religion is not correct. If the religion is not correct, the language of creation is not correct. Because religious people keep talking about creation of Allah created, God created. But no, there's no creation. Look. Where we are going now. Since there is no creation, how can I explain the world? Now, maybe because no one knows the beginning of the universe, end of the universe. Yeah. For example, the famous theory, mathematically explained, the beginning of the universe, mathematically. As we discussed before, Muslim philosophers logically explained the beginning of the universe as big as an egg. They said that's what they could think that much. It was if you squeeze the universe, it can be only as big as a universe, an egg. How can you say this in 1200 years ago, man? How?
Theory.
How? Oh, but there's no clue in the area of field of science. This is just logical conclusion. Okay. Anyways, but can the same theory, either Muslim's theory or now this astrophysicist's theory that the universe has a beginning, okay, can the same theory explain the end? No. Can the theory explain the
End of what, like creation?
yeah, but this universe, they call it the what universe. They make a tunnel like this, they symbolize it. It started from this one atom, and it is expanding, and they don't realize that they complete this figure when they are explaining. But in fact, this is now the end of this explanatory figure or chart is now. Now is now the end of universe. No. But physically and philosophically, no one can guarantee that tomorrow the universe will exist. There's no reason within the universe that it will exist tomorrow because there is no agent in the universe which guarantees I will give existence to tomorrow's universe.
But isn't there also no reason to say that the universe will not exist tomorrow?
No, of course not. Of course not. But it depends on what then? Tomorrow's existence depends on what?
Experiencing it in the now?
No, the
But
source creating
can you guarantee? Can you see any agent in the universe right now that guarantees that definitely I will exist tomorrow? Yourself? No. Atom?
No, nothing.
Well, then no one can claim it. So, although this theory talks about the beginning of the universe, cannot talk about the end of the universe. But logic says if it has a beginning, it means it started by another universe, external agent to the universe, external to the universe. Understand this. So this external agent which gave existence to the universe, to the atom, this atom, must hold the right to give end to it. So universe itself cannot exist by itself, cannot end its existence by itself.
You're saying the one who gave existence to the beginning particle, if I say that, must also then give existence to its
To
end.
the end.
Yes.
To give the existence of the end of the universe can give, but logically.
Mhm.
Okay? Logically. We always say that belief is the logical conclusion.
Yeah.
If a belief is not the logical conclusion, it is not belief.
But then you can't, I mean, right now we're discussing this question, I mean, the conclusions, right? Like, why do people conclude such? I don't know, I'm thinking about it. I don't know about, as far as even my existence, I should start at my existence. Definitely had, physically, I had a beginning.
But it wasn't you who decided to come into existence in the beginning.
That's true.
Did the atom itself? I must come into existence. I'm bored now, being non-existent. If something is non-existent, cannot give existence to anything. It itself is non-existent. Logically contradictory. Wherever you hold it,
Yeah.
falls apart completely. When something doesn't exist and give existence to itself, itself doesn't exist.
But I can conclude that I was brought into existence.
I
I had
was
a
brought.
beginning.
Sorry?
I was brought into existence.
Yeah. I can say in my language, that's my beginning. But it doesn't belong to you. It means you are given existence.
Mhm.
But logically, you can conclude that.
With that regards, as far as the universe is concerned, I don't know. I just see it in existence.
Yeah.
So
But
I just
you
say,
have to conclude from the way it is being brought into existence. You understand that they are subject to, that's what we have been talking. They are continuously changing, but the changing is not random because the result is not random.
the
No.
universe must be eternal.
Sorry?
The-
Yes, yes.
yeah, right?
What?
The
What?
universe must be given existence.
Yeah, but it cannot be eternal.
Yeah.
Why?
Because
It
I
depends.
don't know if tomorrow's gonna
Eternal means self-subsisting,
be.
self-existing.
Mm.
Eternal means. But we said it is a beginning. If something has a beginning, it cannot be qualified as self-existing.
But does the universe have a beginning?
Sorry?
Does the universe have a beginning? Does it?
Universe has a beginning every moment. You don't have to go 13, 14 billion years ago.
Okay.
Every moment it is
For
a beginning.
anything that exists
Sorry?
within, for anything that we experience within this universe must have a beginning, because that is the condition of.
For my logical conclusion.
Right.
Now, when the people find themselves that since I am going to reject creation, the understanding of creation, so come back here, find the solution for the existence of the universe. They say, we don't know the beginning, we don't know the end, it must be eternal. So simple-mindedness. And they don't even think that when they say the universe is eternal, what it, how do you say, brings this sentence, brings some conclusion. If it is eternal, it must be self-existing. If it is self-existing, it is always, it cannot be subject to change. If it is not subject to change, it cannot be dependent. If it is not dependent, it must be eternally the same, and all qualities of it also must be eternally the same. It means eternal. But we see nothing in the universe preserves its quality by itself eternally, because it itself is subject to change. It is appearing, it is disappearing next moment. It cannot sustain its existence. But when they say it, what they have to say now is a consequence of claiming that the universe is eternal. As a result, what they do, it is changing, but the change has no agent. It is randomly changing. No agent. Randomly changing was randomly. Randomly, everything has the perfect preserved, it is wholeness. Although this is part seems to be acting randomly by themselves, but the result shows that no, they are not randomly acting by themselves. They are acting in harmony, and they cannot make even another character, even another shape. They have to produce, for example, pear tree has to produce pear. But not by themselves. That's how they made. They are made by an agent.
That's interesting. Going back to Farah's point earlier about randomness, even just defining something to be random, is because I cannot explain its existence, or within this universe, I'm like, hey, it's happening by itself. It's not just, just say it's randomly happening. Because I cannot find, I'm going crazy, looking for a source of existence within this universe. I'm like, yeah, it's by chance. Because logically, I can't even, the thought doesn't even occur for me to just conclude, oh, if it's not this is, knocking down everything, like the whales, then, gee, I wonder where is it coming into existence from? Oh, so there must be something. Like, if you cannot go there, you're like, oh,
they
randomly
have to throw out
yeah.
something, whatever it looks like. Okay, I can get away with this one. With this idea, for example, universes exist eternal, and forget about it. There is no God, there's no religion, of course. So I am free. I can live as I am. So cheap.
A little lazy.
Yeah.
I was going to say that when we study data at work, whenever we fail to find a pattern
that you wanted,
whether we want it or whether we're truly investigating, just because of our failure to find something, we say, okay, perhaps it's just random. And, obviously nothing ever really is, but
random,
just that the failure to identify the pattern or the failure to identify the order is probably what results in the conclusion of saying, okay, it's random. But to her point, it's lazy.
Yeah. We are not challenging a question. We have to be free to say, we have to free ourselves that, no, I don't have to accept anything presented to me by the environment, my culture, my certain community. I have to make my own mind up. Then free yourself from this and investigate whatever you want to investigate, how true and consistent it is. Of course, we have to boil down all the arguments to La ilaha illallah. Nothing can exist by themselves. Therefore, there must be a creator. And in the language of the scripture, which makes sense when you read the series, the study, it is said God. So, okay, let's name it God. I don't know. For example, I'm talking about the architect of this building, right? I say, looking at the building, definitely it is a builder. Huh? No, okay. Let's talk this builder. I don't know the person himself, but I'm sure it is a big architect. There is an architect. There is a builder. Sure. Let's call him John. Call him John. It is just personal pronoun. Yeah, it's just a pronoun. Name it.
Can we call Bob? Because it's a cartoon called Bob the Builder.
Bob the Builder. I say, okay, refer to it. It's call it Bob, but what do you mean by Bob? No. When you say Bob, as far as the existence of this building is concerned, what do you mean by the one?
The builder.
Builder. You see? That is the point. When you say God, what do you mean by God? The maker, but it must have the base. Did you conclude that? There must be a maker, definitely. Oh yeah, that is why you are now qualified to call God or Bob. As far as the house is concerned, Bob, as far as the universe is concerned, God. But you can call it God. So the Quran says, if you call it Allah or Rahman, does it make any difference? That's what the Quran is arguing. What do you mean by, if you say Allah, okay, or if you say Rahman, okay, what do you mean? What do you mean at the end of the day? What do you mean? So if you can go God, if you can go Allah, what do you mean by it? Right? It is equally this a valid question, whatever the pronoun you use. Push this one away and say that hey, you can sit anywhere, but I have to sit there. Yes.
So I guess going back to the self-existent one, right? I'm just thinking out loud here. If the self-existing one must exist in order for any other existence to exist, like within this nature of universe, when I look at myself.
Excuse me, I
Yeah.
found the reason now. Can share, one of you share, yeah, 1 by 2, and the other one use that one, if you don't mind.
No.
So it must be, the cold is coming from there, but the people don't feel it because they have protector. Look at that. Look behind them. Look
As
behind
you can
them.
tell,
You say,
Abhay
no,
is
no,
very
no, no, no.
warm.
Give this one. Give this one. No, pull this one. And there is something there. Throw them away to this lady. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Who wants it?
Maybe the
Okay.
Yeah.
Really? Yes. Look, it is cold here. You can touch it. Yeah. So be comfortable. Yeah. But no, we don't need it. Do you need it? I don't know because those people, do you need it? Do you need one? You are fine. So, okay. Thank you.
We're talking about
cosmos.
So my question is, the self-existing one must be the source of its own qualities.
By definition.
What do you,
But
okay.
when you say self, if something is self-existing, must have its own qualities also self-existing, and
So no, I wasn't saying that actually.
no.
But that's what
And it must be this quality self-existing, and everything with all its qualities are the self-existing one, but with its qualities, not independent things. For example, architect of this building designed the window bearing something in mind, one quality. And while it is designing the window, another quality thought of the needs of the people who are going to see it. But all of them makes one architect. But they are the architect. In order to be an architect, you have to have all these qualities.
But
Yeah.
can you say that the architect? You can't say that the architect is the quality. The architect is independent.
Being with its own qualities. Altogether, one architect.
What do you mean with its qualities?
So without qualities, something without, can you think of a thing existing without quality? It means it doesn't exist.
So you're saying qualities is what essentially existence in that case is qualities then.
But the qualities belongs to a being.
Okay.
Yeah. Take yourself as an example. The one who made you. Yeah. For example, if I take all the qualities out of you, Can you exist?
I don't haven't thought about that.
No. Can you exist?
I-
No quality, no skin, no bone, no
Oh,
flesh,
okay, physical.
no
yes.
hair, no teeth, no, I don't know.
Physically, I would be not existing.
Yeah, no, it means your existence as a human being means you are your qualities as a human being, human qualities. That is why you are what you are.
So if I say, I guess the challenge that I'm having is it's easier for me to understand that, okay, because I'm experiencing, let's say mercy or compassion, that there must be a source of this mercy and compassion.
And this mercy must be eternal.
Before even saying that, I would say
Yeah.
that this, the source of this mercy is not the mercy itself. So it's not the quality itself, but rather the one that is exercising or manifesting that quality.
How can you separate the quality with the one who's exercising?
And that was my question. So
That is why if we think of anything existing, now forget about the difficult question of self-existing, eternal existing, whatever. Now, anything existing, it exists with its quality. That's it. What makes it? Whatever it is, as far as my description of it.
So can I say that
As far as my description of this being, architect means by definition,
right.
the one who sees, the one who thinks, the one who knows the human society, the one.
So is it fair to say that the one is merciful and the one is mercy? Or the one is compassionate and the one is compassion? Like, you understand my question?
Yeah, you are making it, I don't know. I mean, using another language, what do you mean by it needs qualification. So, can you say the architect of this building, or I? Yeah, I am merciful, so I am mercy. But why do you say I am merciful, therefore I am mercy? What do you mean? Mercifulness, this is what we call it, the mercy. When the mercy appears and reflects itself, it is called the merciful. But we qualify it. For example, you do something and we qualify you. For example, you design a program.
Yeah.
And we say he is the programmer. So you speak, he is the speaker. That's what I say. You are all together, you are one person. All together, you are one person. One essence, you are, which is called in the Quran that. So you are one that yourself. So that's it. But when you act, the other person the people observes you, he says, well, I don't want to use a personal name, but I would say, okay, let's say Ahmed or Mark is a good speaker. The other one says, yeah, you know what he did? He's a good architect. The other one says, he's a nice man, he's very merciful. According to their experience of you, they qualify you. In fact, you are as you are, your essence.
So can we say that the source of all the qualities manifested in this universe, or
we are qualifying them? The creator is merciful. The other one says creator is the one who is giving plenty. The other one says creator is the one who is being really just. Yes. The other one says creator is the one who gives existence to everything eternally. The other one says creator is his understanding of creator is what? No, according to me, creator is really well ordered and prudent. Thinks of the future, prepares everything in advance. According to that's why it is not a simple question, and the whole scholars argued about it for centuries. Later on, they said, "Oh, I don't bother about it. I believe in God. I'm lazy." So, but we lazy people. But they confuse that. What we observe and qualify the essence, the person, what the person itself is. So when I see the manifestations of the qualities that from my perspective, this is the one I describe you in this way, this is a very deep subject. Believe me, it's a very deep subject. Well, and then people talking about, okay, you said he's merciful. Do you think mercifulness is different from his essence? Stupid argument. But the Quran said, that's a stupid argument.
Why?
But we did make the difference between, from my observation, I call it merciful. From another person's observation, they call the same essence as, for example, just. But what the Quran says, no, stop arguing. Oh, what was the verse? There are several verses, Asma'ul Husna. Yeah, belongs to Asma'ul Husna. Come on here. Every belongs to him. Lahul Asma'ul Husna. Lahul Asma'ul Husna. Now, look, what the Quran is gives a very sharp, straightforward answer. Because human nature asks this question, هو الخالق والله الذي لا إله إلا هو والله الخالق البارئ المصور. Look, the that is the creator and form giver, originator, form giver for you. Lahu al-asma'ul husna, whatever the qualities you observe manifested in the universe, and somebody says he is the originator, another person says he is the creator, another person says he is the form giver, another person says he is the generous one, another person, right? Their experience. But God says, Lahu al-asma'ul husna, whatever the qualities you experience as a result of his act, this is him. Don't separate anything. No, there is one thing here, and there is a mercifulness or the creatorship here. And as you said, there is a mercifulness, so he is mercy. That is your experience. He is as he is. No, if you want to understand this, the Quran says, okay, let's follow the verse now. What was the verse? No, beginning. Whoever, sorry? No. Not what? Now, Huwallahu al-Khaliq, al-Bari, al-Musawwir, these are your observations, manifestations of his qualities. But I'm not going to tell everyone, there's no need, forget this thing. So it's a very famous verse, everybody knows it. But when I think about it, it doesn't come immediately. So,
we're observing.
No. Whatever you observe, I'm not going to tell you all the qualities, what you experience. I'm not going to speak. 6 billion people experience 6 billion qualities from their perspective. Different qualities. Everybody experiences every moment in a different way. Yesterday you said he is a very kind God. The other said, no, he is really preparing preparing me for the future. He's a provider. Oh, he knows me. He's a provision giver. Do you understand? Every moment we experience different qualities manifested here. Now, he says, no, I'm not going to tell you all the names that you experience, different qualities you experience here and there. Whatever the qualities you find is from it. You cannot explain it in another way, the existence of this quality than you experience. For example, if you say, who made the door? The one who built the building. The other one says, who made the window? But the one who made the window. He's a window guy. He's a door guy. Now, who made the wall? He is the one who made the door wall. He is a mason. Who made the color? Huh? Who made the color? But he is the one who made the building. Now, this person says, oh, he was a good look, painter. The other one says, he was a good designer. The other one says, oh, he really knew, he knows that the people will come here and live because he arranged everything according to human life. So, he is the knower. And you say, stop please. Whatever you see in this world, all the qualities, it belongs to the builder. Stop this argument. Right? Don't you believe? Okay. Everything glorifies his qualities, whatever the quality experience. Everything witnesses that it belongs to. The door witnesses that it belongs to the builder. Window witnesses that it belongs to the builder. Wall witnesses that it belongs to the builder. Painting witnesses that it belongs to the builder. No one can make it. Builder, the paint cannot make itself. له الأسماء الحسنى. Summary. يسبح له ما في السماوات والأرض. Very clear, simple, evident. The example, you mean the Quran says, I am not saying anything complicated. Come on, don't make it complicated. Very simple. Now, why we make this simple matter complicated? And in the history also people made it. They have a good intention, but I'm not blaming them. I'm not saying that all they were not simple, they were simple-minded people. Forget about it. No, they were great people. They were trying to understand what's going on. But now, as a result of all their arguments, reading and hearing them, what to this, what to that, the Quran's description is very simple. Why do we keep confusing about it? When you say Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin, what does it mean? The one who is the owner of this universe. Every quality hamd means anything which is worth to be praised. This painting looks beautiful. That belongs to him, the builder. The door functions perfectly. Yeah, that is the work of the builder. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Every person sees and experiences different qualities manifested in the universe. Yeah, all these qualities you are praising. It's beautiful. It's perfect. Nothing is wrong in the universe. Oh yeah, goes to the builder of the universe. Yep.
So
Do you get it? Yeah. So you cannot separate it, but separation comes from us. Look, it's very important. That's why I am excited. Separation comes from our narrow experience of the manifestations of the qualities For example, you use the door. While you are using the door, what do you say? The builder must have a perfect measurement. How the door is perfectly fixed. Eh? Do you understand? So for the moment, you say that he's the best. He is the best measurer. Yeah. Which is, these are the names mentioned in the Quran. That's why particularly I took them. It puts everything in a perfect mizan. Yeah? Measurer. So, measurement. So you can say he's a good measurer. So, all right. The Quran says, hey, whatever the conclusion you arrive is belongs to him. Make it simple. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Everybody has different. Okay, but not only that you use only the door. Now you are using the door. When it comes to the window, the sunlight comes in. Oh, this man arranged everything so that I can entertain the sunlight. He is the best window guy, window maker, or window, whatever you call it, you say. Do you understand? There's no problem. Everything goes to the same source. Why do you say, let me think about but mainly, Muslim scholars found themselves in trouble. That's my understanding. Conclusion. In trouble, they were reasoning about what is going on in the universe and concluding that, God is this. Okay. If God is a window maker, I said God is a window maker. And if God is a perfect door maker, God is a door maker. Now, this door maker quality belongs to his essence, or it is a different quality as you person asked. That is a wrong approach, illogical approach. You know why? You separated the quality, started treating this quality independently of his being, and then try to understand, does it exist together? Does it exist separately? So this very famous, you may hear when some people around here, they say, how can I solve this problem? How can I? It seems to be a problem. What can I do? What can I do? They say, okay. La huwa ayn wa la huwa ghayr. Very, very famous phrase that the Muslim theologians make this. His attributes, not his essence, but not is separate from his essence, which doesn't make sense. They said this is the solution. Solution also doesn't make sense because to me it doesn't make sense. What do you mean by his essence, but not his essence? What are you playing the game? Because when they conclude God, they started the problem from thinking. No, sorry, not from thinking. They start the problem thinking from God's perspective, and they want to say he's Ahad. What shall I do with his attributes now? Excuse me, sir. The attribute is your production. As a result of your existence. Why bother?
I was just realizing this too, that
Yeah.
The reason why I was struggling with that was because I was taking for granted that the essence of the one is something that is comprehensible.
No.
And
Yeah.
the moment you say, oh, I can now know the essence, you start treating the essence in a
Yes.
way that how you view the rest of the
A
universe.
part of the universe. or something created.
Right, which doesn't work. So
Doesn't work.
that goes back into like you can know of a one, but you cannot know the one. So I think
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good expression. Did you understand? But so if someone doesn't, do you know Martin? You say, I know of him, but really, I must admit, I don't know him. It's English, yeah? That's what you are saying. So I know of him means you heard, but you were not really introduced to him and you didn't have any experience with him, right? This results, this, I mean, saying, I know of him, of the creator. Definitely, it must be the not only I heard it in English, but I'm sure it exists. But I don't know his essence because it is beyond the capacity of the universe. So if something is the source of the universe, cannot be describable with the qualities of the universe, and we cannot have the language which is applicable not to the universe. Every language, every word, every sense is driven from our experience of the universe, but we can logically conclude that these are pointing to a necessarily existing one. Yeah. So coming back to your question and concluding the class today, very exciting class. I wasn't expecting that this matter will took us that much, but I said there's a very, very logical link between two vocabulary, and one is the result of the other one. Now, for example, if someone says matter is matter is eternal, yeah, it has to say motions of particles are random. Yeah. If someone says everything is randomly happening, definitely says it has to say matter is eternal. And they necessitate each other, because if you say matter is eternal, how are you going to explain the universe? If you say universe I can explain the universe, and you are bound to say, within itself, not as a created being. If you say I can explain the universe, how the things are happening, let's put the things in the lab and we will do it. That the scientists claim now, they had to say matter is eternal, because what they say, they are seeing how the things are functioning, but they are saying that the function belongs to themselves. Can they belong to themselves? Eh? Is there any quality in themselves which will give a result to this, that I did it? The particles say, I did this one. It is me because I have this quality. Can they say, do they have this quality? And the Quran says, do they have a feet to walk? But very simple. The Quranic language is extremely simple. Do they have legs to walk with which they walk? Do they have hands to grasp? What else the Quran says?
Eyes to see, ears to listen,
Aidin,
tongue to listen,
sorry, okay.
tongue to listen.
I mean, that's what the Quran word I couldn't remember now. Do they have the hand? So, these simple-minded people, very simple-minded. I'm disappointed with them. They said, oh, because the Quran talks about hands and legs, this kind of material thing, he must refer to people. simple way of saying that. Do they have the quality to give themselves existence? That's the problem of the Quran. They say, oh, you know, those in some, especially Far Eastern countries, they give shuyukh and some people, they call them, you know, how do they call them?
Peer,
The word, sorry, saints.
peer,
Sorry,
peer.
peer. Yeah, in Urdu,
Right.
peer, and even after they die, they still go and worship them, and they are the source of blessing. For example, some ordinary people may misrepresent this and do that, but Quran speaks to them and say that they don't have a leg to walk; they are dead. All the explanation of the reality of the universe is reduced to a dead man. What is a crime to the Quran? Quran is not going to speak something like that. But if you say that the universe is existed by an absolute being, you don't go and to a grave and say that please help me have a child, or especially please help me get married. But the foundation, because these people say, I believe in God, they don't know what they believe in. They don't deny, they are innocent, but they don't know what they believe in. But the Quran is not going to speak to them. Quran is speak to persons who think. Then it gives the extremely simple example. Okay, you found the verse? Did you?
Yeah.
Okay, read it. Do they have the slowly? Yeah, I can follow.
There are so many versions of the translation here.
It doesn't
Have
matter.
they feet with which they walk, or have they hands with which they hold,
Yes.
or have they eyes with which they see,
Or the eyes. Look, physical human qualities. Yeah.
or have they ears with which they hear?
Yes. Eye, ear. Now,
Say,
Leg,
call your associates.
feet, hand, eye. I'm trying to learn. Ear. Yes.
Say, call your associates.
Sorry.
Call your associates,
Call your associate. Associate. What are associates?
partners.
What are they in the Quranic language? Shirk or?
Enemy.
Males.
In Arabic.
Deny.
Okay.
Shirk. Sure.
Yeah. Shuraka. Yeah.
Shuraka.
It means in the explanation of the universe, you attribute the actions, the existence and actions of the particles are the result of something other than the creator of the universe, Rabbul Alameen. This is associates. Do you understand? This is associates. But what these people argued with themselves, Sufis argued with the literalists. Literalists argued with the law, faqih, rules producing people.
Ulama.
Sorry, scholars, yes, and of course the others blamed the Sufis. Sufis esteem certain people, certain type of people, so they criticize him, and Sufis criticize them. So because they are obsessed with the argument within themselves, so universal message of the Quran becomes what? Their own support in order to compete within the same community. They are obsessed, they can see only this, but they are not really say that this person does this kind of thing. Let them do, none of my business. Well, it is his business. It is his business. How I understand, how I should make sense of the existence of this universe. That is my problem. Therefore, how I understand the source of existence of my being. then you forget about the stupid internal arguments. Meaningless. First, solve your own problem. And the Quran speaks to what? Not the dispute between the believers. Quran speaks to believer. It describes believer in its absolute sense, denier in its absolute sense, and shirk in its absolute sense. And there's hypocrisy in its absolute sense. Never points to this group, to this group, to this group. What we take the Quran in order to blame our rival groups within the same community. It's a simple-mindedness. So that's why this kind of very limited-minded interpretation of the Quran prevails within the community. And this puts the people off and said, I don't believe in religion. This is stupid. So there God speaks to support Sufi, the other in other group, legislators or whatever you call them, scholars, uses the Quran to support themselves. That's their problem. My problem is who I am. How do I explain my existence? Quran is not the answer for me. No, this is the answer for their own internal quarrel. This Quran is not the answer for me. Forget about this meaningless source. How can I explain the universe? It must be eternal. I don't know the beginning, the end. So. And the things are happening in it when it seems to be changing, and eternal cannot change, is it? It is a random change. Do you understand? We have big responsibility. Thank you very much. Alhamdulillah, I was very pleased. I was in another state, and this morning I just rushed. And, Alhamdulillah, Allah gave me the opportunity, but it was worth it.
We have big responsibility, you said at the end right now. About what? About as far as pertaining to
explaining your own existence. Reading your creator's speech must help you to find out in a simplest way, in a simplest tamsil, the Quran says. Simplest tamsil. وَتِلْكَ الْأَمْثَالُ نَضْرِبُهَا لِلنَّاسِ لَعَلَّهُمْ يَتَفَكَّرُونَ. These are the examples for the people, that we narrate to him examples so that they will think. Think what? To solve their human questions. So your human questions, that is the responsibility that we have. We have to question, who am I? What am I doing here? If this source, for example, Quran or the Bible, whatever, claims that I will explain you, I will give you a guidance to help you in order to deal with your human questions. If the Quran says, if you are looking for a solution, okay, let me hear you and read this the translation or this, even the commentaries. They go to the dead people and expect them to help you. It means the Sufis are stupid. I am right. Internal quarrel. What is it to do with the translation or the commentary on the Quran? It is internal quarrel. You're made up stupid argument. It's not a human existential questions. Quran says, I'm going to explain your human questions.
It's interesting.
And then, no. He's explaining that I am right against the scholars. Scholars say, no. I am right against the theologians. Theologians say, no, I'm right against the philosophers. Philosophers say, I am right against the Sufis. Sufis says, I am right against all of you. That's what's going on. And everybody reads the Quran within this stupid, internal, very limited area of arguments, qualifications. I am the best, I am the best, I am the best within the certain community. They don't know why they are in this community. But I belong to this community. Why? I belong in this community. Why? I am a Muslim. I am from Pakistan. Well, all Malays are Muslim. So I am a Muslim. Definitely Turks, without question. All Turks are Muslim. Arabs. So that you look at us, look at other group of people. They are stupid. They don't know that I am the best. We are the best. Prophet is from our race. It's idiotic. Stupid, idiotic. Okay. But we have to stop. We have to stop. Okay.
I'm wondering what's wrong with this thought. So I'm thinking my existence seems a little burdensome now because of this responsibility.
No. But you can enlighten your existence. Otherwise, you would be living like we have no time, animal eating and reproduction. That's it. That's what the people are doing. What is the difference between you and them? You are a human being. No. The better you understand yourself, the more meaningful your existence becomes, and you enjoy your life, and your conclusion becomes really satisfactory. You say, okay, I'm free of any trouble.
So what's
I
the
found the result.
responsibility part?
Sorry?
Investigating.
No. Don't make it dark now, because that's what your tendency is. I'm being frank today. Yeah. No. You become secure in your existence. Otherwise, you will be living like an animal, not you personally. You will be like these people live like an animal and no pleasure in their life because they live day by day enjoyment. And when they think about what will happen in the future, no, forget about it. Don't mention.
But then it's not
Don't
a responsibility once you
Sorry?
Like, so then it does not become a responsibility once you start receiving like light. So it doesn't seem like a responsibility.
Nobody goes to the university, correct. Nobody goes to the education institutions, well, because there is a responsibility and I have to do myself. No, I must go, I must become enlightened, meaningful life. But they may be lazy while they are in the school. But it doesn't mean that they are lazy in the school. It doesn't mean that they don't enjoy learning. They say, if I learned, it would be the best, but I was lazy. This is a very, when you are hungry, when you eat, do you see that it is burdensome? When you are eating, you enjoying, the food. It's a good food. The food, like the Quran, gives the best example, simplest example in the best form. And indisputable. Read this verse every day. Wallahu alladhi, Wallahu al-khaliqu al-bari'u al-musawwir. Follow the reasoning. Lahu al-asma'u al-husna, yusabbihu lahu ma fi as-samawati wal-ard. Solves every question. Really, very fundamental. La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah is the summary of this. Bismillah. We have to stop. Bismillah. Subhanaka la ilaha illa anta innaka antal alim. Wa akhiru da'wahum alhamdulillah.